Hello, hello. Today we are doing some little bit of game testing on the Mac. So welcome to the stream. Um, we had a bit of information on the Mac Gaming subreddit about Battlefield 6's single player campaign working on Mac. Now, of course, you must know that all competitive online games that are run on Windows don't actually work on a Mac. Um, 99% of them just don't work. There's a few exceptions on Battle.io via Parallels. Inazuma 11 apparently that works on Asahi Linux due to the Proton exceptions made on the Linux side, and that actually works natively on, but won't work through crossover. But apparently, the single player campaign can run, and there's a lot of caveats with this. Right, in order to run the single player campaign, you're going to have to use what I'm going to call a DRM-free version of the game. So it can't be an official version. I actually tried getting this to run on my PC the official way as well, and it really wants you to make sure that you have a computer that is completely locked down. It has all this like kernel level anti-cheat stuff in it. You need to have secure boot turned on. You need to have TPM turned on your Windows computer. And I thought I had it all working, but for some reason, my Windows PC couldn't get it to run. So my DRM-free version is able to get it to run on my PC. And then what I've done is there's certain sections in the campaign on the Mac which just decides to crash. So if you play it for 5 minutes, it'll just crash. And what I'm going to do today is just show you how it goes, because what I think about this game is that the M5 Mac itself, the hardware itself, is very capable of playing games. But the fact is that we can't play games because these platforms that the games are released on Windows or on consoles, even though the Mac could run the Windows version potentially, we because of anti-cheat, it detects that you're running this through Wine and just doesn't like it at all. So anyway, I'm just going to run my I'm going to call my DRM free version. So if you wanted to try this yourself, I've left a link in the description for the save games. I'll just show you what happens. So there's basically an SP folder within Battlefield 6's DRM-free version. I'm going to run Battlefield 6 from here. And then I'll just show you the beginning part, and then I'll copy over my save, which kind of gets you to the later part to see how it is. Hello, welcome to the stream. Ghost K Web, thank you for chatting. Let me see if I've got my chat window up and running properly. So it should be appearing on screen. Not that much chatter from the chat so far. Yeah, that's all working. Okay, so this is Battlefield 6. I've still got my M5 MacBook Pro, 16 gigabytes of RAM, so this is still the low end model. So technically, the game could run on this through the Wine translation layer. So this is basically using the latest version of Crossover Preview and then just getting it to work through that. So we're just going to test this out. Happy Good Friday indeed. Hey, welcome to the stream, Chico Burrito and Stephen Bond. Hello. Have you tried Chad PS4? Yes, I haven't tried the latest version. Apparently, there's a lot of improvement with Bloodborne and the latest version of Chad PS4. I could give that a go later. I'm not sure yet. Okay. I wonder why my chat window is not coming up, because normally I have a chat window that comes up on screen. Let me just... It is there, but it's not coming up properly. Because normally I can pop it out, and then for some reason it's not displaying today. Strange. Normally it works pretty well. Yeah, so campaign mode is the only thing that we can play. You have to use the DRM-free version, and you cannot play online, of course, right? This is, if you can't play online on a Steam Deck, actually, can you play online on Steam Deck with that Field 6? Is it compatible? Because that's another Wine translation there. No, it's not playable on the Steam Deck out of the box because it's incompatible with the operating system and EA's anti-cheat software. However, you can play it through GeForce Now. Is that the thing? Yeah, so we can't play this. We can't play this on a Steam Deck, but you could probably play this DRM-free single-player campaign. So just open up bf.6.exe, and then you'll be able to get it to run. So basically, if you look at the options here, I've turned them down quite a lot. I don't know why I can't get this uncapped from 60. I don't have frame rate limiter turned on. So resolution scale, like we want to try and get it like below 16 gigabytes of memory because we have a unified memory platform here. So we're really low on memory, but we're using FSR quality. One tip as well is that if you're doing this, you have to make sure that your DLSS is turned off because otherwise it tries to detect your NVIDIA graphics version and it will be wrong and that won't work. So we're just putting this on low graphics preset, just seeing how this kind of runs based on that. So I'm gonna stay in this beginning bit for quite a long time just because otherwise I don't have much content for a stream, and I'm just gonna like try to like extend this a little bit because basically about 3 minutes into the campaign, if I go over to those dudes to start the next sequence, right, it's gonna like crash, and then I'm gonna show you how to fix that crash. But anyway, yeah. So this is like the potential, what we could have, right? So Battlefield 6, of course, primarily a multiplayer game. They've thrown in a campaign mode in here. I'm not really sure how like extensive it is. But the thing is that it's why can't they make the single player accessible? I mean, I wouldn't mind buying Battlefield 6 and then playing the single player campaign and maybe playing, on a Steam Deck, just the single player campaign on my Mac through crossover, through just the single player campaign. And then, yeah, sure, load as much anti-cheat on as you want for the multiplayer. Just depends. But this shows that it could run if we just had like token support for non-Windows platforms, non-mainstream platforms, then it could actually work pretty well. So this is like, what is it, 70% resolution scale, and I think FSR is added on top of that. And so let me think. Am I an investor in crossover? No, I'm not. But they send me a lot of merch, and I like testing it out because it's quite fun. Because when we do this kind of testing, I can confidently say that there's hardly anyone else like making content like this. Trying to make content, getting this game to work on a Mac, which is kind of crazy. Okay, I actually bought like a Retroid G2 very recently, so I've just been setting this up, and there's a lot of YouTubers who make like emulation style content, and lots of people out there who make Steam Deck content, and of course like normal Windows gaming content. And I really like this because I've been using GameHub and testing out Windows Steam games on Android, which is very exciting. But there's not many people doing this on Mac, and I just kind of get a kick out of this idea that there's that we're getting this game to run. It actually runs, and we're getting 60 frames per second, which is pretty low graphics settings. It's pretty blurry, but it is running. So we do have that. Let me see here. Thank you, Prayogo Wahyus. Welcome to the Pro tier membership. Thank you very much. I'll answer some questions. I need to buy a 16-inch MacBook. Do you think I will be fine with the M4 Pro? Do you think there will be a different input lag between Mac, League of Legends, and Windows? Personally, I've never experienced input lag with League of Legends, but I'm not an enthusiast player. So I'm going to be honest, I have no idea whether it's going to have it, because people have said in my videos that there is like there is input lag, and some people have said that there's input lag on all games running through a Mac. So I'm not really sure what to say. I can't really comment on that because I don't care. I do care about input lag, but I can't tell necessarily that easily unless the game feels laggy. For me, if the game is running at 300 frames per second, which League of Legends definitely can do on a Mac, depending on the resolution, then I'm quite happy with it, basically. Rosetta introduces input lag. Maybe, probably not. Okay, so if we play through the campaign, right? I've tested this a few times now. There's this whole scripted introductory sequence, which is quite a lot. Well, not very long, but it's like about 2 minutes from here. There's like no more. There'll be a crash, right? Because when you're in the gun turret, right? There's a thing with flashes, and then it kind of crashes to desktop. Yeah, but in this section here, you can see that we have a fully functional game out of the box through crossover. So why we can't get this to work on a Mac? Why there are so many restrictions on single player? It's like a real shame. Yeah, so you can see here, fully functional. there's hardly any competitive first-person shooters that you can play. There's hardly any like high-quality campaigns that you can play of, traditional big-budget like first-person shooters. This used to be my bread and butter when I was like a teenager. I used to play like these PC games all the time. So Saidu Papu, you're the primary person on Steam Gaming on Mac. Thanks for the tutorials. Yeah. How do you feel about the 14-inch M4 Max? Yeah, I think it's a decent machine. I mean, some people say that the M4 Max has issues with cooling compared to the 16-inch. I haven't really played around. I've never actually tested a 14-inch Max chip machine yet, so this is new to me. Oh, okay, yeah. See, now this is our crash, right? Crash to desktop now. Okay, and it seems to be. I'm not exactly sure how it happens, but there's something that occurs when there's a certain effect that comes up, right? So I'm just going to show you the closed BF-exe. Okay. So you can work around it to some degree. I've left a link in the description for a couple of save games. I'm just gonna pop in the save games which I put in from the next bit. So I'm not actually sure whether it's this, because that actually crashed earlier than I thought. I'll just show you the next bit anyway, so that I can actually show you the next part of the campaign, because I assumed that it's not time-based, but maybe it is time-based. Maybe if I just hang around in one area for 5 minutes, I'll just test it out. I'm not sure what's causing the crash. Do you think that I will be fine with M4 Pro, or should I invest in M4 Max if you want to play some Marvel Rivals? Personally, my advice hasn't really changed that much in terms of like whether you should spend extra money for gaming performance. You're probably better off using the difference between those two machines with the M4 Pro versus the M4 Max. That's a few $100s in difference in price. Okay, I'm just gonna like hang out in this foresty area. So what happens is that basically, what I'll do is I'll get to the top here, and then there's like a thing where you have to like point a laser at some targets, and we'll just wait here for a little bit, and I can answer some questions in the chat. Yeah. So this is the beginning of the campaign. Okay, you have to like laser paint some stuff. Okay, good. So yeah, so there's quite a big difference between the M4 Pro and M4 Max. You should, if you really want to play games, you should probably spend that money buying a PlayStation 5 or something, or a gaming PC. Buy a new GPU for your gaming PC. That's probably a better investment. Marvel Rivals, I would say, probably works well enough on the M4 Pro. You should see videos on it. I'm sure I've done videos on it before, but I'm sure that it'll be fine. Okay, so this is the 13th minute of the stream. Let's wait 4 minutes, and then see if it will just crash anyway. Because before, when I continued on this bit, it would crash at like a specific point, but maybe that's due to how much time is in the game. I'm not sure. There's some kind of bug which is not allowing crossover to, which is causing some kind of lockup. I have no idea what it is. I'm not debugging this. I'm just wanted to show you that it kind of works. Could you please tell us what are cheap controllers, wired wallets, which have support for macOS? I see controls for Android, PC, but macOS. Well, basically, there's two controllers I recommend: the Xbox Series controller, and then the DualSense PS5 controller. So the PlayStation 5 controller. You can also use the DualShock 4 PlayStation 4 controller, and you can also use the Xbox One controller. Those are cheaper, but they use micro USB, mini USB, micro USB, something. And my preference is the DualSense. So if you can afford the $50, $60 that it costs to use this, I like it because we have an internal battery. I do have an internal battery on my Xbox controller, but that's an aftermarket thing. I tend to find Mac game support this controller better. There is haptic trigger support for a lot of the recent Sony Windows ports that work through crossover, like Spider-Man. And there's also if you play something like Split Fiction as well, the lights will change color depending on which character you're using, which is really cool. And then another thing is that you have the haptic trigger support in some Mac ports. For example, what do you think? There's Death Stranding, which is very effective in that, and then there's a few other games, handful of games, which go. So I would say this. It's not cheap though. If you can't afford this, then buy a DualShock 4, which is going to be secondhand and much cheaper. Okay. And 5 is the deal. Yeah. Hello, chat. Please tell me this is running using. This is not Parallels. This is Crossover, the latest version of Crossover preview using Game Porting Toolkit 3.0 Beta 5. Last of Us Part 2 as well, and God of War 2, yes. Well, adaptive trigger support is good, but those games, the God of War Ragnarok is good. Last of Us and Uncharted, they both have memory leaks, so I wouldn't really say you're going to be playing that long for those games. Okay, so that was 3 minutes, I think. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And if we just wait here for a bit. Because, okay, so I just tried this before I came online, and then I think when I went down the hill, then it just kind of crashed to desktop. Okay, I'm also thinking of buying a PS5 controller. On my YouTube feed, it's showing PS5 having more stick drift easily. In India, it's more cost. That's one thing about it. Personally, I've tried third-party controllers. 8BitDo. I really hope that the 8BitDo would controller, the Ultimate Controller 2 or 3 would work better. But I also had major firmware issues with that. So when I updated it through the firmware through macOS, it would basically brick the controller. It happened on 2 controllers. So other than that, it works great. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily choose that. Yeah. I haven't experienced stick drift on a PlayStation 5 controller. Maybe I haven't used it enough to really assess whether that's true. I've got way too many controllers now. I've got like 5 of these, right? I find these a bit less consistent in pairing. I find I actually have lots of issues pairing with Mac on this. With both of these devices, if you want to update the firmware on a Mac, you need to use Parallels or VMware Fusion and then plug in by USB and then install the software, and then you should be able to update firmwares as well. Apex Legends, I did a video about 4 years ago about how to get like there was like a leaked build of that, a single player build, which works through Crossover. Okay, so it's not a time-based thing, the crash. So I think I'm gonna pick up the laser pointer and then we're gonna paint the thing and then we'll see how far we get, because this is definitely going to crash. Yeah, Battlefield 6, just to clarify, Battlefield 6 multiplayer is not going to work on a Mac because it requires all of this extremely extensive, invasive stuff. It wouldn't even work on my main PC because I had multiple issues getting like secure boot working. So even though I had secure boot turned on, it wouldn't let me do stuff properly. Okay, so we paint these 3 things. And then it gets bombed, right? Yeah, so we can only play the single player version, and I say single player, but really this is from the DRM free version, the one that's been DRM freed from DRM. So from this point on, I'm expecting a crash to desktop at any moment. So my point of making this video is just of this live stream is just to demonstrate that this actually works. It could work if it was officially supported. It's just a shame that these guys, these developers, haven't got it together to, you know, put this on different platforms when it could easily run. Yeah, so just to clarify, this is running at 60, but we are turned on to low graphics quality, and let me see. And I've got the resolution set to 70 plus FSR quality. I don't know how these 2 things interact. Also, there's a major issue if you when you first start the game, it does this like weird artifacting thing like this. But if you change the graphics settings, it seems to like go away. And if I put the scale lower, then it seems to work better. But I'm going to keep it relatively low because I want to keep this memory usage kind of low for the app. Okay. So I put a link in the description as for the save games to try and skip that first crash to desktop, right? Which is what happens when you're on the tank. So it has very inconsistent behavior with this. It's, you know, the crossover preview is pretty like cutting edge. When you load up the Battlefield 6 bf6.exe, it kind of hangs, and then if you load it up, you have to quit it. You have to force quit it, and then you've got to launch it again, and then it'll work. And then when you play the campaign, it just crashed again. See? Crashed. Okay, let me just like load this up and then see if I can get any further. Because the last time it crashed, it lasted a bit longer, and then we'll see how it goes. Is this M5 better than the M2 Max or M3 Max? No, it's not better than these, although the M2 lacks ray tracing calls, so it will suffer for specific games. Brock says you're new to gaming. This Mac has 16 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm still testing the base model. So this is the cheapest M5 you can buy on the market right now, even though it's quite expensive at $1,600. It's not cheap. Okay, so this bit has. Okay, so I wonder what happens because this part has loaded up slightly later. I think it's some kind of effect. It must be some kind of shader or effect or something which is causing this crash, because it crashed here just a moment ago. And then when I played this right before the stream, it crashed about here. Oh, God. I haven't played like a proper first-person shooter for ages, especially with keyboard and mouse. Oh my God. Oh, why not? Ouch. Oof, crashed the desktop. Okay, let's load it up again. And then see if I can get any further this time. Quite mercifully, it kind of loads quite quickly, which is nice. I'd be really interested to see if there's any kind of development with this, because of course the crossover build that we are using right now was launched before Battlefield 6 was properly released, or the single player campaign anyway. And I wonder if somebody at Codeweavers or somewhere else is actually coming together and testing this out and seeing why it's crashing, because I suspect it's a wine issue, but I'm not entirely sure. So we're just back to here. We'll let it crash another time. And then we'll see how this goes. Do you think there will be a native backend for Rejigs? There was one developed by Isaac Ryu from Whiskey fame. And I think it's been integrated already. I haven't tested it out for a long time. I need to make a new tutorial about it, which I'll do at some point, I think. Oof. Let's see how we go. What's this? Ammo. I can't think of a rhyme or reason for this to crash at slightly different areas. I know that the tank sequence in the beginning of the game, there is like, that's crashed again. There is like a specific point at which something happens which causes the crash, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's definitely something that's happening, some kind of explosion or something, some kind of explosion shader that happens during the tank battle and happens during here, which seems to like cause it to just crash straight away. theme is Black Friday sale, Batman Arkham Collection and Witcher All Collection for cheap. Do they work on crossover? If you buy the Batman Arkham Collection, 2 out of 3 of those games are macOS native, even though they don't say they are. You can play them and download them, and they will just work. Battlefield Arkham Knight is one which every time I've tested it on crossover or parallels, it hasn't seemed to work that well. There's always like some major stutter, so I wouldn't say that's a good one, but the other 2 games are well worth it. The Witcher collection, we have Witcher 1 and 2, which are Mac native. So they're native, but they're not that good. They're like, they include their own translation layer from their own 32-bit binaries to 64-bit, and it's slow, right? Witcher 3 works really well on crossover through DirectX 12. So that's a good buy if you have crossover. And Steam Red Dead Redemption 1 is working on the M1 MacBook Air. Okay, that's good news, because before I tested it, I had to use a DRM-free version, let's say. Is it on sale now? Is Red Dead Redemption 1 on sale? Oh, interesting. I might test this out then, because if I can get this working, then that'll be very interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll test that out after this. So it's turning DirectX into Metal 4. Well, specifically, I think it's Metal 3 at the moment. I'm not really sure. Okay, do you think that ARM SteamOS will impact Mac iPhone gaming at all? Yeah. Oh yeah. This is the thing I'm really into right now. Okay, in my, I bought a Retroid Android gaming handheld, right? And one of the, okay, so we can like, this is like emulating. This is Nether SX2, kind of an Ether SX2 fork or modification, and you can download and play like PlayStation 2 games. But what's so exciting about this is GameHub. So the primary reason why I bought this, right, is to make like a mini Steam Deck I can put in my pocket, and is much less valuable. So this is the Retroid G2, and I really like it because I can play like Megabonk, the PC only game, not on mobile or Switch yet, and just like put it right in my pocket. A lot of the roguelikes, which are like Ball X Pit, which I love, right? It's great because if you look at these Android handhelds, right, and you compare them to the size of a controller, and they have a similar kind of footprint. It's thinner, and so yeah, I've been really obsessed with this because we have a similar kind of issue with running Windows games on a Mac, right? There's an ARM chip in here, but and then it uses a lot of the same tools like DXVK. There's Vulkan, native Vulkan support. So a lot of the translation is like more mature on this, and the audience is way bigger than on Mac gaming. So yeah, I really like this as a Steam Deck alternative, and it's very exciting to have all of this like new stuff that's happening on the ARM Android side. So Steam are going to release a Steam Frame, and that's going to have Steam basically running Steam Windows VR games through a ARM64 to x86 64-bit translation layer. So that's like super, super exciting. One day, because so what I've got here is called GameHub Lite, which is like a modification of this like Chinese company's, I would say like crossover type Windows translation layer, like package, right? This is cool, but if Steam could release their own Steam client on Android, that would be really cool. So I'm quite excited about that. Yeah, Red Dead coming to iOS 4th of December, right? So that's next week. Oh, what's the temperature like? It is nice and hot, 101 degrees. So it is running at full pelt, but we are capped to 60. So, well, it's actually going over 60 now. I'm not sure what that's all about. Okay, let's play a little bit more, and then I might run some Red Dead. Okay, let's do a little bit of gaming on this. Yeah, Steam is ARM native now. I haven't played around much with Windows Mac Steam yet, but it's good that the beta has come to release yet. I was wondering when that was going to happen because it's been like quite a long time. Okay, so something's happened here, and we've got another crash. It's a shame. It's a shame that we have this instability because I know it can work, and and it's just some weird thing, okay? Where something bizarre's happened. Let me see. Arg exceeded compiled variance footprint limit. What does that mean? Is this something to do with the HUD? Is this something to do with Metal HUD? So maybe if I turn off Metal HUD, then we might get some kind of better result, maybe. Let's turn off my Metal HUD and then restart my crossover. See if we get any slightly different results, because if the Metal HUD is conflicting, then that's a problem. Let's see here. So this goes in my other folder, in my other folder. And then we have to load up the this SP folder, and there's BF6. And then what's cool about crossover these days is that you can do that. You can just drag and drop straight in. I'll give this another go and see if we get a different error message when we crush. It's not a memory leak. Yeah, this is DRM-free version. I'm not using that word to describe this, but there is a version of this which doesn't contain a lot of stuff. Can't figure out how to get DLSS FrameGen working on Spider-Man Remastered. Watch a tutorial. I don't know what to say. I haven't tested my tutorial out for a while, so there should be native FrameGen in Spider-Man, so you should be able to get that working. What's happened here? Yeah, so when this happens, that something's gone wrong there. So I'll just force quit. And we'll just run that again. The exe failed to run because the wrapper can access exit file code 55. What outside a proper winding? Okay, what I could do is copy it. What I could do is copy it locally and see if that changes anything. I remember running this over my NAS. I don't know why it's verifying shaders again. That's a bit weird. Thank you, Korean user. Yeah, Battlefield games don't work. So this is the single player version of the DRM-free version of the game, which I'm just running through crossover preview. So you can't, there's a lot of faffing around trying to get this to work. Let's see if it crashes again. And then if it does, I'll copy it over locally. And if it continues crashing, what I'll do is test out a different game. We'll test out Red Dead Redemption 1 and see if the official Steam release with the Rockstar launcher is going to work, because that would be interesting and very exciting, because I only got the DRM-free version of that one working relatively recently. Okay, so this should load up to my save game from just now, shouldn't it? Is crossover 26 in the work? Yes, this is crossover 26, isn't it? This is basically crossover 26. It has a lot of new. This has a lot of new fixes compared to crossover 25. There's a huge difference. So they've been keeping a lot of the really good stuff in preview only. Okay, we're going to continue playing a bit longer, and we'll just see if we get any better, get any further. Kill these dudes. Get my ammo. Let's blitz through this, see if we can get... Crashed again, okay. Yeah, so that is where we're at. Force quit this. What error message are we getting? Exceeded compiled variance footprint limit. What does that mean? What does that mean? Something... Might be running out of resources compiling large shaders. So some kind of memory limit we're reaching. Oh yeah, I've got my standing treadmill underneath here, so I'm not on it right now because I'm kind of tired today, so I don't want to do it. But I am standing up, so I'm kind of like doing some exercise, I think. What's my daily driver laptop? It's the MacBook Pro 16-inch M3 Max. That's what I'm using. That's what I take when I go somewhere or go abroad or something. I take it on my flights, play games on it, I do video editing on it, everything. I wasn't getting a memory leak with that game, but I was getting just random crashes. Yeah, much less overhead playing DRM-free builds. Okay, so we're kind of done with that. Let's try out. Let's test out Red Dead Redemption 1. So somebody said in the chat that this is now working on the Steam version. So let's confirm. And also, I'll be taking any kind of requests today if anyone wants to suggest anything for me to test it out. You don't necessarily have to pay $5, but I will prioritize the $5 super chats if you do. And then we'll just see how this goes. So yeah, I'm going to load up Steam, and then we're going to try running Red Dead Redemption 1 through this. So obviously Red Dead Redemption 2, we've been getting working quite a long time now. But Red Dead Redemption 1 we're going to try now. This should launch the Rockstar launcher, which I already have installed in this bottle. So that should just work, I think, I hope. Let's see. The game can't start because at macOS's GPU driver, Ajax hits shader limit, crossover can't compile the graphics the game needs. Okay, what kind of, is that like a shader limit of like the number of shaders? Or is it the type of shader which is being done? Is it the number or the type? I wonder if there's a meaningful difference between those two things. Maybe more off volumes into your internal Mac, lower GPU. Can Battlefield 6 surely can't be a DirectX 11 game, can it? Is there a DirectX 11 build? Seriously? Let's just go back to this. I could try this and then we'll see if I can. Let's just quit this for a minute. Okay, I want to go back to this. Okay, so apparently there's a DirectX 11 build. So that changes things slightly. Because if we can use the modifier DX11, which apparently I just looked up, then that would be very interesting. I've already lowered the graphics settings pretty much as low as I can. So let's see here. Oh, of course, I don't have my metal HUD up, so I can't actually see whether this is DirectX 11. This is why Mac gaming is cooler. You've got to earn to play. I think that there's, with these kind of devices, Steam Decks and Android handhelds and stuff, there's a lot of like setting up, and that's part of the fun, okay? And the Mac is like setting up, but hard mode, right? Linux used to be too easy. Let me see if I can pull up a performance graph. Isn't there like a, I thought I saw like a graph thing, performance. Overlay. Whoa. Well, that's stats. Okay, we've got stats. Okay, let's see if this crashes in DirectX 11 mode. I think this is in Direct. Does it actually say whether this is in DirectX 11 mode? It doesn't say. No, it says on the top left, Direct 3D 12. So I read online that if I use the DX11, no, it's not working. Oh, I can do this with DX11. Oh, I have to change an ini file. Yeah, so there's a DX12 renderer. Okay, so I'll just play this until this crashes again, and then I'll come out, and then I'll go into the I'll change the preference file because there's a way to change the renderer from DirectX 12 to DirectX 11. So this is DirectX 12, so we should get the same result. So it's a crash when too many shaders are being generated by all of these animations and stuff, and all these effects. Oh, there's like a stab. Ow. Let's see. I'm reloading. Frag out.
Duke 1-1, this is Tempest. We'll need evac soon from Site 2.
Let's just hide here for a second. So BF6 doesn't support DirectX 11, and the issue is DirectX 12 and Crosser isn't strong enough, and AGX blocks it. Okay. Well, yeah, okay, that's why crash. So DX, okay, let's just try this again. Because I read here there's a preference file. If I look at the documents folder, and then if I go into Battlefield 6 settings, there's a prof save. Is it prof save or different file? Let's see. Prof save profile. We edit this with text edit, and we'll just see if there's anything we can actually modify with this. Yeah. That is something that we changed already. No, I don't think that does that. I'm pretty sure they didn't build this Battlefield 6 on DirectX X11. Yeah, Battlefield 6 shaders is too heavy. AGX limit. Why is this on 0? What happens if we change it to 1? Will this change anything? Let's give it a go. I'm just reading some random stuff on Steam forums, right? I'm just going to try something else because that was I'm just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. Yeah, still DirectX 12. Oh, actually, I'm busy at the moment. Okay. Just going to get electricity. Okay, I'm just going to come back in a minute. Okay, so yeah, this still says DirectX 12, so I don't think changing that does anything. It's some kind of leftover code. I don't think that's going to help. Let's see if I enable VSync, does that do anything? People get a little like placebo effect kind of settings that people do. If I frame rate limiter. If we do 60, and then maybe, is there like a vertical sync? Let's turn that on. Okay, let's try this again, and then we're going to try the exe path now. I really doubt that this is actually a modern AAA game in this day and age has some kind of DirectX 11 mode. It just seems extremely unlikely.
Commit firing.
Let's be a bit more cavalier about this.
Hostiles closing in on site two. Enemy vehicles in sight. They want this place bad.
Ah, I'm dead.
Catch me up.
I've crashed here now. Okay, let's try JFishing suggestion, which is to add DX11 at the end of the target command. I doubt that's going to work. Issue a shaded compilation AGX limit. Yeah, what is the shaded compilation limit? Yeah, that's still DirectX 12. I'm certain that game, released in 2025, wouldn't have a DirectX 11 mode. It would make sense because it makes sense like here, if I stand here for 10 minutes, nothing's going to happen. But as soon as a battle happens and there's lots of effects happening at the same time, then things seem to get worse, seem to crash consistently after that. Okay, after this we'll do some Red Dead Redemption 1. Oh, that was an early one. Battlefield. Any Battlefield on a Mac would be insane. It's a shame that we don't have this. Yeah. So, exceeded compiled variance footprint limit. I wonder if there's a fix. It has to compile a bunch of different shader variants, different shaders. The reason because it loads those shaders when stuff happens. So yeah, when stuff happens, the Mac keels over. Yeah. I wonder if this will ever get a fix in the future. It would be quite exciting to get some kind of fix for that. Okay, let's try some Red Dead. Okay, let's do Red. This game is actually on sale right now. You know what? Let's just quit out of this completely. So get like a clean launch. And then I'm going to get my terminal, my Metal HUD up. Okay, let's play. I wonder if there's some kind of fix for that. Maybe like expansion of the number of shaders. I mean, how can is there a hard limit to the amount of shaders that can exist? Every time the game freezes, the game is scope in. I think there's some shade library doing that animation and exceeds the limit and crashes maybe. Yeah, probably. I might have to start a fresh bottle for this, but every time I've tested this before, I've had issues getting this to work. So, if I recall correctly, Red Dead Redemption 1 wouldn't let me go past this part of the screen, but maybe an update has changed that. pre-compiling shaders. Like, there's not many other games which have this kinds of issue with shaders. Preset. You should be able to run this at high. Let's do high. I'm logged into Rockstar. Let's just, what we could do is load it from the Rockstar Social Club, right? Sometimes that helps. What do you mean a RIP version? Use Steam RIP version, what does that mean? Yeah, the M1 can handle it, so. Let's do it. Okay, let's see if we can get this working. If not, then I could find my... Oh, it's a piracy site, okay. I thought we were saying that we could get this working on the official version. If we can't, then I'll play the unofficial version, which I have. Got my copy of it here somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, I've got it here. And then you have to change like a... If I recall correctly, we need to change some kind of setting. Yeah, this is the error I've always had. Did you apply the DRM-free files on top of the Steam version of BF6 since it does crash on Windows if you apply the DRM-free files? No, I used like a version, I launched directly for BF6.exe from the PC subfolder. I didn't execute any files on that directory. Okay. Let's try this one then. Okay, so the Steam doesn't work, but I can show that the DRM-free version does work. Is this the right one? Is this the right thing? And then I have to do something. If I recall correctly, I have to do something let me look up my, I'm just gonna look up my tutorial because I can't remember how to do it. Because I completely forgot how to do this. Let's put an ultra then. Can I check Minecraft with complementary shaders and Photon? Maybe at some point. Try launching game from folder or Steam folder. It might work. I don't think it works because it needs to. It's the Rockstar launcher which is having issues. Really, it's not detecting the Rockstar launcher is active and logged in. Yeah, so this is another case of like DRM like ruining the ability to play this game. What did I have to do to fix this? Why is it so laggy right now? There's something I have to do. Does anyone remember what you have to do? Because I remember covering this last year. Just looking at my old live stream, which I did last year. I have to go to graphics options and then change something. I have to change the VSync value. Oh no, no, it's just it's cleared up. Okay, I didn't have to do anything. Let me see. Options, graphics. Ooh. Yeah, GTA 5 works with Rockstar Launcher. I don't know why this doesn't work with the Rockstar Launcher. So this is Ultra 1080p. Doesn't use that much memory. Let's get my inversion. Can you try RPCS to good older games like Bioshock Infinite? Bioshock Infinite probably works better through crossover than it does through the RPCS 3. Titanfall 2, Wolfenstein. Well, Titanfall 2 has been working for a long time. To make up for that. Running it through... Whoops. Okay, gotta go to the saloon. God of War PC is all cool working DRM for you. Yes. God of War PC is also working. You mean God of War 2018? That one? Does it still have that blue speckly dots? Still an issue, I think. Not an issue on Parallels, but performance is pretty bad on Parallels for the God of War 2018. Still a beautiful game, this, even though it's really old. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is even better. Like, it performs really well as well.
You ain't gonna find sturdier horses than these in all of New Ulm. Easy on the spurs now. We don't need to draw undue attention.
How much performance gain is there playing between using crossover and native builds? Most games are like are more GPU bound than anything, and the nativeness doesn't necessarily fix that, because games like Cyberpunk 2077 and that the Windows and version run through crossover versus their native build isn't necessarily that big a difference between them. It's more about the number of GPU cores, like maxing that out. The native version will be better and it will use less memory, but it's not like a magic bullet. God of War working 2018 working on ultra settings. Does it still have that speckly blue artifacting bug? The Mac I'm using is the M5 chip. I haven't tried God of War 2018 for a while, but I remember blue speckly artifacts, and ironically I'd say that God of War Ragnarok performs better on Mac than the 2018 version. And apparently there's still bugs to do with like teleporting around the map. Here I'm using the M5 MacBook Pro with 16GB of RAM, so the base chip. It's a beautiful game, this.
Are you planning on spending any time in Armadillo, Mr. Marston?
I doubt it. I ain't planning on staying very long.
Well, if you're fixing for some female company, you can do a lot.
Just a stable build, not preview. Okay, well, I think maybe after this I'll give God of War 2018 a quick go. See how we are.
Ain't even fit for a drinking man to hold up with.
I'm a married man, I'm afraid.
Ain't we all?
Yeah, so Red Dead Redemption 1 is coming to Apple platforms and mobile platforms as well on December the 4th, so that's next week. And so it's going to require a Netflix account. And I wonder if we're going to be able to sideload it through PlayCover. I wonder if that's going to be an option, because other similar Netflix games can be sideloaded. You just need to download a decrypted version.
That's right.
OTW. Yes, I have tested out Dispatch. So on my last video where I tested out 20 different crossover Windows games running through crossover, I've got that working through there. Now I've actually played it and enjoyed it myself. I haven't tried it properly, to be honest. In terms of performance, it's pretty straightforward. It's a game that it's like those FMV games of the past where you just have videos where you make a choice in the game and then it just plays the next video, which is still good. I mean, I remember games in the 90s being good, where there's like proper video games that came out on CDs, and they had really grainy video, but it was fun playing them. I noticed a lot of like these kind of adult, targeted dating sim games, which use like real life footage, which is quite funny. So it's a similar technology, a lot of quite high production in terms of like you have to make an animation for several hours and then provide multiple narrative choices. So yeah, I'd like to try that. Once I get my TV room sorted out, it's being painted at the moment. I'll get down to like playing some Dispatch. Will you be reviewing the upcoming Leak A18 Pro MacBook? Yes, I'm very excited about a lower end chip MacBook. Personally, I wonder whether they're going to include Rosetta. Will it be possible to use Rosetta 2 and to play these crossover games? Will it have the ability to install games like generally without the App Store? I wonder if it's going to work. That's how I saw the San Andreas Netflix port. Okay. I tried Death Stranding D3 Metal, worked really well, but can't get to change the resolution, was stuck on 720p. Okay, so how come you're trying Death Stranding when we have a native Mac port? I guess you probably bought the Steam version, and maybe you want to carry on the save there. You could like buy the Mac version and then copy the saves in the container as parts of your application support folder, so that might work. But yeah, a lot of people don't want to buy the same game twice. Telltale games are good. I have fond memories of playing the season 1 of Walking Dead. I still haven't played season 2, so I would like to try. I would like to relive those days. Don't play around Family got a lot of swear words. I suggest keep it on unfiltered. It's actually so funny. Definitely play it with your AirPods. Okay. I'm playing. I finished Split Fiction with my daughter. She's 8 years old. Last week. There are a few swear words in that, but not that many. Like maybe like 5 S words in the whole game. Maybe 7. So I had to like cover her ears a bit for that. And I'm also playing. We finished Split Fiction. Now we're playing It Takes Two, and then with my son I'm playing Backrooms. Escape the Backrooms, which is quite fun. Okay. Now this one's very excessive. It's a bit like The Boys. Have you watched The Boys? It's just kind of, which is disgusting, like dark superhero TV show. Far Cry 3 uses less than DX11, but it's very laggy, like 10 frames. Far Cry 3 runs even around under 6. We're not crossover. My configuration issue. A lot of games which use less than DirectX 11 are 32-bit, and those don't work very well on crossover. So that's probably why. The 32-bit implementation on Mac is getting better. So I tried Fallout New Vegas, which is a DirectX 9 game, and that worked better than it ever used to, but it still crashed to desktop on me. It's still not stable. And like when you look at your inventory, you press the tab button, and then 4 seconds later, you're looking at it. And it does get decent frame rates now compared to before, but it's still bad. Use Parallels for those 32-bit DirectX 9 games. It's just way better. I have an M4 Max 40-core GPU. Does my MacBook provide 120 frames in GTA 5 high settings? Yes, I would say it probably does. Because the base M4 could get over 60, maybe 100 on like medium settings. So the M4 Max probably could. But just remember, you're only going to be able to play the legacy version, the DirectX 11 version, and you can't really play online unless you get Parallels. And it's also not that great a situation getting that game to run. Okay, Red Dead Redemption, another game ruined by DRM. So you can't play the Steam version that you paid money for. But if you download a DRM free version, then suddenly that just works better. Okay, so let's test out this God of War thing, because I think God of War still has the same issues that it's always had, as far as I'm aware. So I did test this on Parallels the other day, and it did actually work. It didn't have that artifacting that I had a lot of issues with. Oh, something's gone wrong here. Steam rips. Try God of War on non-DRM. The DRM of this should just work. It won't affect the blue speckles, because that's like a D3D issue. That's like a D3D to metal issue. Let's give it a quickie go. Okay, so this should work pretty well, but some graphical artifacting, and then some people have said that there are issues with teleporting, which I haven't really got that far in the game. When you go to a new area, when you go to a previously visited area on the map, and that it will crash. That's what I've sort of recall, but I don't know if that's still true. So this is we're running Game Porting Toolkit 3.0 Beta 5. Let's see graphics. Let's put on original. Display. Content DLSS on. Quality. Okay, 720p. Let's try that. Will the M5 Pro be Apple's true entry into gaming? I really doubt it. I really doubt that the if Apple haven't nailed gaming after 5 generations of Apple Silicon, they're not going to exactly gain it halfway through this cycle. So normally in this part of the game, there are these like blue speckle things that appear on the character's shoulder, especially in dark areas, but that seems to be fixed. Was there like a recent patch or something? Because using DLSS or FSR, we get dots on characters M1 Air. Okay, so let's just see FSR. Oh, okay, FSR. Let's just test that out. So we turn FSR on. If I recall correctly, there's... Let me just try this with FSR for a minute, and let's just turn the frame rate cap off. VSync off. Can we get this? This is just the normal preset. This is just original. Can we do high? Okay, well I'm not sure what's happened here, because I can't seem to recreate the issue that there's some plaguing everything. Let's put original, and we'll go to, we use DLSS quality mode, so that's 720p. So that's Metal FX running over DLSS.
You lost control.
That thing was trying to kill us.
So this is a original preset, 720p upscale using DLSS stroke Metal FX.
I haven't been sick in a long time.
Using crossover preview, so maybe if it uses this, then it don't get the blue dots from FSR.
Come on then.
You're not getting Dot's latest version fixed it, maybe, possibly, yes. Finally playable then, maybe.
Try again.
Why are you doing that?
Too slow. Try again.
Cut it out.
Weak. Again. Again.
Stop it!
Again.
There's a bit of stutter there. Kratos. Played last night. I played this board game called it's called Champions of Midgard. Have any of you played that before? Played it for the first time, which was quite fun. And there's a character in there which looks a lot like Kratos.
What was that?
Quiet.
Gray Fox Games.
Come on out! No use hiding anymore. I know who you are.
You should play. Should I play God of War on M4? Please tell me a setting I should use. Well, I think it's using something similar to this. You'll get similar performance. Just make sure you're using 16 gigabytes. Yeah, M4 all has 16 gigabytes plus.
Get in.
Yeah, the graphical glitches appear to be gone, which is good.
Tell me what I want to know.
Do we call frame tearing? VSync fixes but why YouTube reviews disable. We disable VSync because I want to see if the game is capped at 60 because of the hardware, or is it because if it can push more and then you can have a variable refresh rate screen, then it's actually fine to go over 60 because this MacBook Pro has a ProMotion display and has variable refresh rate, so it means that if we go slightly under or anywhere between 60 and 120, it should lock. So we're testing the hardware. It might not look that good on stream, but that's what it is. If only Apple could support gaming, Mac would dominate the market. I completely agree. This is such a wasted opportunity to not take advantage of the hardware that they've built, and the game porting toolkit is so close to being Proton. A Proton Steam Deck like environment. It could be better than Proton has made gaming better than on gaming on Windows, right? It's better experience in 95% of these single player games, not these competitive games, but single player games just work better. You can pause, you can hibernate games. It's just a very console like polished experience. It's getting better all the time. And even this, the Retroid Android handheld where I'm playing PC games on this, like lightweight ones like Megabunk, they're fantastic. So why can't Apple just embrace the translation layers? I mean, one day we're going to all be playing God of War on these $100 devices, right? That's going to be in the next year or two. Normal Android phones can just become PC game players. Mac gaming needs more shaded pre-compiling. Agreed? I mean, the Steam Deck, every time you open up your Steam Deck, it downloads the latest shaders, the pre-compiled shaders, based on any changes in the game. And, Apple has a limited number of configurations. There's only really the M1, M2 generation and an M3, M4, M5 generation. Well, my mouse is clicking on the HUD menu settings. That's why that HUD menu is coming up in the background. How much battery health? I've only ever actually used this on power, so not tested it out portably much. This guy's mean. Oof. The animation in this game is really good. Like what they've done with this reboot of God of War is like incredible. I was testing out God of War 2, the original God of War 2 on the PlayStation 2 emulation, and it's like it's so basic compared to this. So obviously it's way more okay. This is going for a cinematic, emotional experience, but this is ow. Ow.
Struck a nerve, did I?
This is running more smoothly than it ever has in the past before, right? This is like way better, especially considering this is a base chip. I know we're getting like each subsequent Apple generation, we're getting further and further away from, you know, we're making this easy and easy to run due to more powerful hardware. But this is like incredibly, the software side has improved tremendously.
Too much.
Who is this dude?
You won't talk? Fine. Maybe whoever it is you got stashed in that house with.
M5 and M1 Pro have the same teraflops. Yeah, I believe that. Ouch. Ouch. Ooh, this epic fight between the stranger and Kratos is great. What would Apple need to do to be a strong gaming machine? Aren't they doing as much as they can GPU-wise? I think GPU-wise, they are sort of. I think reducing the price of the base models, that would probably help a lot. And then I think it's really just about the software side, because this is the cheapest. This M5 chip is the cheapest of this generation, and when the M5 Mac comes out, when the M5 MacBook Air comes out, that'll be like $1,000, maybe just under $1,000 machine, and it's going to have roughly the same performance as this, but with that thermal sealing. I keep forgetting to jump on this bit.
Vicious one, aren't you?
I should probably play this with a controller, but I can't be bothered to pair. Keep forgetting to jump at that point. When can we expect an RPCS 3 test for? I've already done lots of M1, M2 emulation tests before, but I'm going to do one for this M5 chip probably next week. We'll do a live stream and then we'll cover the whole video of it. So compared to the M4 Pro, what do you recommend for getting for gaming? Probably just wait until the M5 Pro gets released, probably in January. So if you buy an M4 Pro for sure if you need one now, but why not just wait another month or so for the M5 Pro to come out? Do games like EA Sports FC 26 work on Mac using Parallels? Not at the moment, no, I'm afraid. Oh, I can see my mouse cursor here. You can get rid of it by just command tabbing in and out. The M5 Max launch is rumored to be January 2026. I'd be very surprised if it was later than that, because it's the first time that like a new generation of chip has released where the Pro, the Max, and the base model haven't all come out at the same time. This is working pretty flawlessly.
I just needed answers, but you had to act all proud.
No one knows oozed.
Throw whatever
Could be as soon as January or as late as March. Yeah, that's true.
That old
I'm counting on it being January because that's when I've decided that I can't travel. I want to do some traveling and I can't travel in January because I'm pretty certain it's going to be the second week of January or something. Like an M4 Max. M4 Maxes are not cheap computers. They're very, very expensive. I have an M3 Max and that is very powerful still. If you can get a second-hand Mac, then the M3 Max is still really good.
seen it with your own eyes. Can't hurt me. Nothing can. This fight is pointless. Your struggle is pointless. It didn't have to be this way.
Thank you, Mojal, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Helping you make gaming on a Mac great again. Make Mac gaming great again.
When I
We should get a hat.
nothing, but you feel everything, yet you.
Yeah, I know used M4 Max is what I'm aiming for. I mean, not many people have
And if you
given away their M4 Maxes yet.
it wouldn't have
The real test is if it can run Star Citizen. I still haven't played Star Citizen at all. Is anyone in the chat actually played Star Citizen? Because I've never actually played it before. I'll keep clicking on that.
feel nothing. I will end you. Can't beat me.
Yeah, this is the base M5 chip with 16 gigabytes of RAM. Europa Universalis 5 testing anytime soon. Yes, I already tested it on my last video. So if you look at my last video, I tested 20 Windows games running through Crossfire Preview, kind of like what I'm doing right now. And Europa Universalis, the Windows version does work. There is no Mac port, unfortunately, for a Paradox game. That's a real shame. But we're there. There is like 3 systems now, over 200 chip engineering rights. Okay.
Would finally make me.
I remember my friend telling me about 10 years ago that someone paid them in. Part of the payment for their services was like, they were paid in like Star Citizen ships, like a gift code or something. And that was like 10 years ago. That was such a long time ago, and the game still hasn't come out. Is it worth like buying a starter pack and then actually playing it? Because I wouldn't mind trying it on my PC actually. I've gotten like a little itch for space games because I just started playing a bit of Everspace 2, and I really want to get back into that freelancer, privateer, elite type game. Scam Citizen. Yeah, I used to love Wing Commander and Privateer. I'm like the target audience, but then I just haven't gone into it because I've just been a bit afraid of committing to anything like that, which is too big of a commitment. It'd be really interesting if the Mac could play it though through translation layers, because the engine uses Vulkan, right? Not DirectX. So until Apple gets Vulkan support, we're not going to see Star Citizen. For $45 you get extreme value. It's only Black Friday sales. It starts as in like an MMO now. It's like a live service type experience now, like an early access live service game. Can you play with a keyboard and mouse, or do I need to dig out my joystick?
Neither am I. I do not know how to do this without you.
Why don't Apple just bite out crossover and make the compatibility layer default setting? Yeah, Apple are just a bit allergic to compatibility layers, despite the fact that they've made this whole thing possible thanks to Game Porting Toolkit.
But we cannot stay.
Thanks to D3D Metal, we can actually play these games at pretty decent performance. This is like pretty much flawless, right? But you know, they've taken the step of creating the translation layer. They just haven't like executed properly, you know, what should happen next.
There was so much. I thought. You're all right.
Start Citizen House server meshing now, so you can support exceptional players on it. Yeah. I remember playing a lot of World of Warcraft on the server and getting a lot of lag when playing like Alterac Valley. That's just like 80. There's just 80 players in total.
Thought I wasn't ready.
I haven't played any games with like a single shard, like EVE Online. I haven't really played anything like that.
Prove me wrong.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, this is working like way better than it used to. So no graphical artifacting issues, no memory leaks. It runs on pretty modest hardware, so it's only using 8 gigabytes of memory. Pretty much perfect experience playing this on the base M5 chip.
Mountain. It's gonna be a long trip.
Yes, but an important one.
Whoa. How did this happen?
Can I save the game? Oh, I can save here.
Who was
They
it?
know I should play this
I
properly.
do not know.
What did he want from us? We're nobodies. Did you kill him?
I did what had to be done.
Does Linux Proton support games working on crossover and online? Yeah, that works on Linux, Steam Deck, but does it have a chance of working on crossover? It could work on crossover if the developers enable the
Never leave me alone.
anti-cheat to allow games running through crossover to work, or if they developed a Mac port of the game and then they could have the
You've had
anti-cheat
to
work
kill
through that.
people before, haven't you? You're used to it.
We do what we must to survive.
Animals, I get. They're food. Draugr, they're supposed to be dead. But people, they're trying to survive too.
Close your heart to it.
This is very unlikely for you
By all
to.
manner
I went climbing last week, and
Close your heart
this
to
is
it.
very tough to climb. It's
Close
kind of
your heart
it's
to
kind of
the
wall,
suffering.
especially with a kid on your back.
Do not allow yourself to feel for them. They will not feel for you.
I understand.
What's the button for throwing again? Controls. Sheath, aim. Oh yeah, aim. Recall.
Has this been here all this time?
Puzzles.
Why don't you help me up there? I can get a better look.
Really hope CAs like Creative Assembly don't drop Total War following how Paradox dropped Mac support. Crossover seems to be a double-edged sword now. Yeah. They must have crunched the numbers and decided that, yeah, it makes sense to support Mac. But why Paradox? It seems like a lot of people would be playing Europa Universalis on a Mac, and they've just crunched their numbers and they've decided that support is not required, even though the engine has been the same for a long time, hasn't it? And you know they've done things like updated Molten VK and Crusader Kings 3 and get it working better on Mac. But at the end of the day, a lot of those games work fine through crossover, so it's hard to say whether they've made the right decision or not. Okay, guys, this is the end of my stream. So today I'm going to be finishing up here. I hope you've enjoyed watching Battlefield 6 play, or probably not play very well on a Mac, on the M5 Mac. I hope some kind of crossover fix comes out for that in the future, because I wouldn't mind playing it on playing that single player campaign on the Mac in the future. We also tested Red Dead Redemption 1, DRM free version as well, and then God of War, which is thankfully fixed. TriStar Citizen, yes. If it uses Vulkan, it ain't gonna work. But maybe I'll try it on my PC at some point, but I won't be streaming that. Anyway, thank you for joining the stream today. And we're going to be heading off. Got some childcare duties to take care of. I'll see you on Cyber Monday. So I'm going to make a video for Cyber Monday for the upcoming crossover sale. So make sure to check that one out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye. Peace. Oh, Mac Pro Tips, thanks for joining. I've got to go now. Bye-bye.